Hello, and welcome to our program, Where God Weeps, a program where we speak about the situation of the suffering church around the world. Pakistan has a population of about 160 million, of which fully 96% are Muslim. Christians only number 3 million. Nonetheless, vocations are on the rise. To tell us more about this and the story of Catholics in Pakistan, it's my great privilege to welcome Sister Ghazia Akbad, a daughter of St. Paul working and living in Pakistan. Sister, thank you for being with us here today in our program.
Yeah, thank you so much. When I got the news, I got very excited to be here, and I'm happy, extremely happy.
As I am. Sister, you are a daughter of St. Paul, living and working in Pakistan. Can you just give us a picture? The Catholics are a minority in Pakistan. How would you describe the faith of the Catholics in Pakistan?
Actually, it's a wonderful thing to say about how the Christians are living their faith. Actually, when we are in our families, we are formed in such a ways that faith has taken place in us. So anywhere, any type of difficulty comes, we face it with the faith. With the faith, for example, few months back there was a blast, and it was in the Catholic Church.
It was a bomb attack.
So it was within the Catholic Church. But after, if we think that people can be afraid of it, they might not come back to the church. No, it was not like that. People were coming back to the church. At once they heard, people came to help, and we as a religious sisters and fathers, we get the first opportunity to be with our people. And I feel like this is a strong pillar of faith that we are living.
You are coming from a Catholic family, a family that has lived a Catholic tradition. Can you tell us a little bit about the family background and perhaps how you decided to become a sister?
Yeah, actually, my family, we are basically Catholic, but
from generations behind, or
yeah,
yes.
Generations behind, we are Catholic. But in 1965, in the war, my family has been divided. Like my grandpa, they were 3 brothers, and 2 remain Christians, and 1 became Muslim.
Why did he become Muslim?
Actually, I don't know, can be a fear, and can be some other things also, but most of, in the war, it seems to me it was a fear of faith. So he has turned to
He converted to Islam.
He converted to Islam, yeah.
And how do you live that today in your family?
They are not living with us, they are living far from us. But when there are some ceremonies, some celebrations in our families, we do invite them. They come to our house because they are our blood. So for us to have a blood relationships, it's really a close relationship, whatever it is. So it doesn't matter if they are Muslims, they are ever welcomed in my family. They eat with us, they sleep together, just like a family. We don't even many times feel like they are Muslims, we are Christians.
And when the other part of the family, the Muslim part of the family, come to your home, what is it that they feel? How do they see something different? What do they say?
Yeah, actually, when we are with our cousins, we feel like many times they tell us, "Oh, you have great values in your lives," because in the morning we pray together, in the night before going to the bed we pray together as a family.
The whole family, all 15?
Whole family. So if somebody is not there, it doesn't matter, but as a family we are there for the prayer. So this is a beautiful thing, and which they missed. Most of the time they missed.
And they see this.
Yeah, and we go to the church, we lit the candles, so we bring them sometime with us in the church to see how do we practice our faith, how do we practice our prayers. So they are very much inspired, and especially they are inspired of my vocation. My
Yes.
cousins, they say, oh, why we don't have this possibility in Islamic?
Is there not an interest in the Christian faith? If they come and they are somehow impressed by the way that you live, is there not an interest, for example, in your cousins of saying, oh, maybe there is something to Christianity?
Yeah, in fact they do. Sometimes they say, oh, why I'm not Christian? But this makes us, because we don't want them to risk of life. So we tell them, because we don't speak much about religions when we come together. It's all a family matters. We don't discuss so much things like you are Muslim, you are this and that. They will say that you are Christians, you are like this, like this. No, we don't. We don't speak even many times.
And when you go to them, how far do you participate in their ceremonies? First of all, do they have, and then what are they? And then how much can you participate also in their family life as a Muslim family?
Yeah, actually when they go for prayers, when they have their prayers, we remain just behind. They do their prayers, but when they come in our house, when we pray, they sit with us many times because it can be understood what we are praying. But when they pray, we don't understand anything, so we remain behind, so they do their practices of prayer.
You mentioned your vocation. I would like to talk a little bit. Was it something that you always knew that you wanted to be a sister, or did you have? Was there a moment in your life when you thought, maybe there's something there?
Not really. This was not my desire to become a nun.
You wanted to become married and have family?
No. Actually, I wanted to join the army. So that was my great desire, to join the army.
Why did you want to join the army, if I might ask?
Yeah, I love to serve my country, because since I know my country has so many difficulties, not as a Christian I want to help, but as a human being, as a citizen, it was my desire that I want to serve my country.
That was your first thought?
That was my first desire.
Yes. And then when did God intervene?
Actually, as soon as I finished my secondary school, I went for interview of army, and then they selected me and they told me that you come back on for the exams. Then our sisters, Daughters of St. Paul, they went in my parish in 1999. They went to my parish to have a propaganda and to have a stall of the books, and they looked at me that I was a bit active in the church also. So they came in my house and they invited me. I said, oh, I never thought of being a nun because I studied in nun school, so I don't want. No, this is not my life.
Not for me.
Not for me. But God has His own plan. So they told me, only once you come, only once to see our lifestyle, to know how do we live, what do we live. Okay, I'll come. I went and I saw it was really a nice environment. The things I was touched, it was their attitude of mutual understanding, mutual love, that I was really impressed of that.
And that was the beginning.
Yeah, that was the beginning. And when they came in my family, in fact, my family was so much impressed of them. They really thought of, Ghazi, no, it's a best life for you. No, it's not best life for me. So I asked sisters, please, I wish to be back, but I'm not ready. So you give me 2 years space. So I went back home. So I had my college of 2 years. And then after my college in 2002, I rejoined the sisters.
And you never looked back?
No. I love my vocations. It was not mine. It was actually my grandma and my dada who wants me to push to these vocations. So I feel like my dad has been my spiritual director from beginning till now.
And still is.
Till now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sister, a bit to the Pauline spirituality. How would you describe what is the Pauline spirituality, and how do you exercise this in an environment where it would be seemingly difficult because, of course, Christians are a minority in Pakistan? How can you exercise your vocation?
Yeah, actually, first of all, Pauline spirituality is something great, like a universal. So since we are an international congregation, we see different colors, different cultures. So I feel like it helps us in the duration of formation period. It helps us. So I feel like it's even a great challenge to be in Muslim country and where their women are not allowed to work outside. They don't
precisely.
go like.
How do you go and evangelize in the villages? Because, as you say, women are not allowed to walk alone. Either you need to walk with a man or in a group. So how do you, for example, do such a simple thing as going out to the villages as a single person, a single woman?
Yeah, we always go 2 by 2. In pair we go, and sometime in the groups we go. But one thing I would like to say that we are respected a lot in our country.
By the Muslim community?
As a sisters. As a sisters, we are respected a lot. If people see us just on the road during night, they won't harm us. We are confident that nobody is going to harm us. So they give us security. If a boy is just passing, he will be asking, sister, so you are going to the station, sister, you are going to the so and so stop, so can I help you to? So he will be just, if not with us, he will be just walking behind us.
To make sure that you're all right.
Yeah, just walking beside us, behind us, or ahead of us, so we know somebody is there. But I feel very much secure.
But nonetheless, there are often challenges, obviously, for the Christians. Have you experienced challenges in your own work? For example, how much are you able to evangelize? Have you ever encountered challenges there? Or what challenges might you face or have you faced in your work as a sister?
Yeah, sometimes it becomes hard because we, Daughter of St. Paul, we entered in 1965 in Pakistan. At that time, the way sisters were free to work, it's becoming difficult now due to situation in Pakistan. Like there is a lots of fear due to, not only for Christians, in all over the country, even for Muslims, because of this bomb blast.
These attacks, no?
Yeah, bomb attacks.
And fundamentalism just in general, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a general. Actually, it's a general. It's not nothing to do with the Christians. It's a general. So due to those fears that we have in our mind and hearts also, sometimes become a block for evangelization.
How would it be if a young girl would come to you and say, I'm interested also and is a Muslim? How do you manage this kind of a question?
Yeah, actually, I had this experience with my own cousin, who wants me to, she wants to join our congregation. But I told her it's not possible. But we can help you in a different way. Like since they are not so, not even middle class, they are very poor. So we told them we can help you in studies. So we paid for her and we are helping her in her studies. But we cannot take her, in our congregation definitely because she is a Muslim. Even we don't take Protestants.
Would you say there are a lot of people, for example, Muslims, who secretly live a Christian life? That is, because they perhaps can't live openly a Christian life. I've only heard and I've read that, for example, sometimes Muslims come into the church and they sit and pray. And is there like a spiritual communion that you see as well? Yeah,
one of our Muslim friend, she did not have a baby, but in our Muslim culture, not to have a baby, it's really a big issue. So if you are married, you must have a baby. So she was not respected in the family because of this. So she spoke with my mom. She was the actually friend of my mom. So my mom said, if you wish, you can pray to Mother Mary, and who knows, God may do the miracle to that. So she has been very faithful, but she spoke with her husband. She spoke with her in-laws that I really want to pray to Mary. So they allowed her. She put the photo in her room. She wanted to pray. She did prayer. 2 years almost, and she had this privilege of getting a baby. So it was a faith experience for her also. After that, she came with her husband. to honor Mary, just lit the candle in front of her and just out of gratitude. So it was a pretty cool to see that. So there are some persons who really, they don't look that who is the Muslim God and who is the Christian God. They just want to experience faith. They want to just live their own spirituality of God who is God of all.
What we see happening today, of course, as you said, we've spoken about the increasing fear. It's a fear that's growing universally, a sense of that fundamentalism is creating divisions between communities that used to live together as neighbors, are now looking at each other with greater fear in their eyes. Mm-hmm. How do you see this also in Pakistan? And what's the answer? How, as a Christian, how can Christians help perhaps in this question of reducing this fear or keeping the channel of communication open with the neighbors?
Yeah, actually we have Interfaith dialogue community, Muslim, the elder people of Muslim and then elderly people of Christians. So they come together in order to work. I see beautiful values in this at this moment, at this situation, because when they come together, they speak that how can we help our people just to unite them. So there are some Catholic TV, like Catholic TV is playing a great role.
You have a Catholic TV in Pakistan?
Yeah, in Pakistan we have a local Catholic TV channel in Pakistan that it's running in some of the areas, and Father Murad Jalal, who is the captain priest, he's running it, and sometimes Daughter of St. Paul also, they played their role. So through this TV also there is lots of exercise of faith. So there are some testimonies like witnesses of faith, so which really help people to come out of fear, you know. So we make them sure that God loves us. God loves us. So we shouldn't be afraid of, because I always quote whenever I speak with the families that Jesus said, never be afraid who harm your body, but be afraid of those who harm our faith, who harm our soul. So I feel like, you know, if I want to be converted as a Islam, you know, I want to be converted as a Muslim out of my fear, no, I will never, because I'm happy, okay, if I will die, let me die, but I want to die with my faith, a Christian Catholic faith. So we always encourage people. We have lots of youth programs that we invite them, we tell them speak of their fears. So they do speak of their fears, which help them to come out of those fears. We encourage them.
In your work as a Paulist sister, when you go out, I think in Pakistan you're known as the Bible sisters, no?
Bible sister, more than Bible sister, people call us sisters of book center.
Book center.
Sisters of Paul, and then many of us they will be calling sister of media.
Sister of media.
Mm-hmm.
And you practically, what does that mean? You go out into the villages, you set up a book stand, and then, but how do you catechize, for example, when there is such high rates of illiteracy in Pakistan? Many of the young children never been to school, they don't read. As a book sister, how do you reach out to children who have never had a book before in their lives?
Yeah, it's very challenging. It's very challenging. It's the reality of Pakistan that our Christian people, they don't care for studies.
The Christians don't care.
Christians, they don't care for studies.
Why not?
Out of their poverty. Out of their poverty, because most of our Christian people are poor in Pakistan. So the schools, the fees are going very high.
And they can't
so
afford.
Many times they cannot afford. They don't allow their children to go to school, go for work, because we have to earn and we have to eat. So this is really a great reality in Pakistan. So usually it's happened, actually we know that this area is not much educated. So we help people with the film show.
You show movies.
We show movies.
Like Jesus of Nazareth or...
Jesus of Nazareth, there is a Nazareth of Maryam. So there are many movies that we have translated in Urdu. So we bring, and people, they enjoy, all the people from the same area, they will be getting together and we have short prayer, then they watch movie. So that's the thing how we can do. But we still bring the books. We want them to touch them even. If they cannot read, doesn't matter. If they cannot buy from us, it doesn't matter. But they should touch.
Just to hold a book in their hands.
Yeah, our presence is very important. And many times I have seen in my life that many times it happened that those who are not inspired to send to their children to the schools, they are inspired.
Suddenly then they say, okay, we make the money and we send our child to school.
Yeah, we tell them actually. We help them sometime. Our sisters, they help them that, if you want to buy this much clothes, you don't buy this much clothes for your child. You buy maybe 2 or 3 clothes. So clothes can be managed in this way, but you send them for schools.
What else is painful for you in terms of confronting the humanity of poverty, or what else would you say is a challenge for you as a sister in your life, in your vocation?
Yeah, when I see young girls, because after secondary school, from the villages especially, in cities there is a lots of awareness now, but in the villages our people are still very far. When we go for prayers, when we see people, they don't really pay attention on such a practices of life. They don't pay attention.
What, for example, just to give us
the prayers like
the prayer life.
They are not really interested. If you tell them, okay, how do you experience God in your life? What do they know really? From morning till evening they work. They don't.
In the field.
They don't even pray. But they must be praying. I believe they do pray, but in a different way. But that solid catechism, that's really a growth of faith, it's lacking. I feel like we need to work a lot, but since we are very few, it's hard. There are many areas where our priest cannot reach, where sisters cannot reach. So our people are just like that. That's most painful for me.
And in terms of social questions too, I suppose when you go to the villages and see some social practices of young girls, for example, getting married at 13 or 14 or this kind of situation, are you able to step into these kind of questions at all? Are you able to give any kind of guidance to families and say, look, perhaps some other way or another approach? Or are you not able to touch these questions at all because they are so deeply rooted in the society, in the culture?
Yeah, but it's not in all over the Pakistan. There are very few areas where they still have carried this tradition. But in most of the places it has been changed, and we hope that it will be changed. But we never take step due to that, because it's really hard to change some of the traditions. It is hard. Even though people trust us a lot, if the sisters say something, quickly they want to take action, because they believe us. They feel like we are the people who cannot never think bad of them.
You only come with a good eye for them.
Good eye. So that's why. But I did not experience such a thing, neither in my community.
Sister, we've talked a lot about different life, your life and the different lives of the people that you meet. If you were to say there were a need, if you say, I need help in this and this and this, what would you say your greatest needs would be?
First of all, I will say that we need to pray a lot for our people. And the second thing is that we really need to work within our families. Because if we work in our families, if we make our couples strong, definitely they are going to help the next generation who is coming. So formation in the family, it's very important, very important. So we are lacking lots of priests, we are lacking lots of nuns. We are very few in Pakistan, but I have great desire, and I feel the need to reach too many. There is a thirst in my heart being upline. I want to reach too many, and I love to work with people in the midst of the people I want to be, and that has been my great desire.
And you're a great blessing.
Yeah. So I will just say that we need to really pray for Daughters of St. Paul especially.
For lots of vocations.
Lots of vocation, because vocations come to us, but they don't stay for long.
Why not?
Because mission of the Daughter of St. Paul is a very challenging. It's not a mission that women can carry in Pakistan. It's a mission that it should be carried by men in Pakistan. But we are both.
God is calling everybody.
Yeah.
Sister, thank you very much for having been with us today in our program.
Yeah, I am very grateful to you also that you have given me this opportunity.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us today in our program, Where God Weeps. And if you'd like to know more about the situation of Catholics in Pakistan, or perhaps how you might be able to help through your prayers or your concrete action, I would encourage you to look at the contact information at the end of this program. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.